So I've been thinking a little bit about Elden Ring lately, kind of how quickly it's fallen off, how it's irrelevant, how the DLC hasn't salvaged the game.
What a slew of just terrible takes.
And the flow of time sure is convoluted, isn't it?
We are amidst strange beings in a strange land.
Hard to believe it's already been 2 years since Elden Ring came out. And in my opinion, it was nothing short of a masterpiece. Anybody who didn't
Yes.
like Elden Ring had their gamer card officially revoked.
In fact, yeah, that's my hot take. That's my main hot take. If you don't like Elden Ring, you need to reflect on your actions and maybe take a dirty slap from me, because Elden Ring is the best game to have ever released. I'm not gonna lie, it's the best game to have ever released. Besides the Pokemon franchise, I'm kind of in a Pokemon phase right now.
Given that From Software has raised the bar with the Dark Souls Trilogy DLC and Bloodborne, we expected
Why did it freeze? Why is it frozen? Frick. Come on.
this, Shadows of the Erdtree, to be Trilogy DLC and Bloodborne. We expected this, Shadows of the Erdtree, to be even better somehow. The question is, does it live up to the hype and expectations?
Yes, sir. I love Mesmer.
The answer,
Bro, Mesmer to GOAT. Mesmer to GOAT. It's the best villain in any game. Coolest one? Hell yeah. Bro, I want that figurine. I want those 19 inches of Mesmer the Impaler.
is a little more complicated. However, the more things change,
the more they stay the same.
like every major release in the Soulsborne series, there's some juicy controversy to digest. Once again, the flame has been linked, the Age of Fire continues, and the debate around difficulty has been reignited. Some say Shadows of the Erdtree is too difficult, challenging, the bosses are overtuned. It's bullshit. Many others are content.
Okay, but there's always like a difficulty curve whenever you're starting a new game or DLC. Like, obviously, you're not used to the old bosses, or you are used to the old bosses, you're not used to the new ones. So, knowing, like, without knowing their gimmicks or their moves, yeah, duh, it's gonna be harder on the first run. But also, Shadow of the Erdtree was some of the most fun I've had with bosses ever, bro. Most of my favorite bosses in Elden Ring are from DLC. I can name on like one hand, less than one hand, the amount of bosses I enjoyed fighting in base game. But I can like nearly all of them, except for Ramina, bro. Screw that. Ramina, no one likes you. But the rest of them in DLC, I like them. Even Primer Dawn. Even though I went through hell. Yes, and I did beat him in his prime. And it was terrible. But I enjoyed the fight. Mesmer, amazing fight. Midra, amazing fight. Bale, great fight. Incredibly hard.
To rely on the age-old saying, get good. You know, those two words are pretty motivating. Wife left you for another man, and you lost your job. Dog died. Get good. Stop crying.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Where?
But who's right and who's wrong? Is it too challenging or not enough? To be honest, I've seen some pretty fair takes from both sides. I think there's valid praise and criticism for Shadows of the Erdtree, but there's also room for some hot takes. And today, we're going to be looking at some of the spiciest hot takes for Shadow of the Erdtree. Ones that might make you go a little mad. So I'm actually going to take this off because it's really fucking hot in here. And maybe by the end of this video, I'll give you my own hot take. And what better place to start with hot takes than from the man himself, Hidetaka Miyazaki, who says, I'm still in the process of making my ideal fantasy RPG, while
Miyazaki's a goat.
Elden Ring is not quite it. It's getting close. What is he smoking? It wasn't quite good enough. Game of the year, not enough for me. You guys realize this man will never stop cooking. Like, he refuses to leave the kitchen. Put the frying pan down, Miyazaki. Just put it down already.
Bro, like, should he put it down? When you're moving like Gordon Ramsay, should he put it down? If Elden Ring, one of the best games in the world, its DLC got nominated for Game of the Year. How does that happen? When your game's DLC can get nominated for Game of the Year, I feel like you're allowed to keep cooking. Am I too close? What the hell is happening? But I mean, hey, let him keep cooking. Let him keep cooking.
Seriously, bro made 7 critically acclaimed masterpieces in a row, and he still has the balls to say, I got one more in me. The thing is, for the Souls series, which I consider Elden Ring to be part of, I don't know how much further the bar can be raised. I think it's time.
Bro, it seriously reminds me of Oda, like after Wano. And mind you, a lot of people criticize Wano heavily, but in my opinion, it had some of the best peaks in the entire story. And so a lot of people loved Wano. And then immediately after the arc, Oda flips his switch. He says, it's time for the One Piece. And he just starts going ham. That's how Miyazaki's trying to move.
Time, their next project should hopefully be another sidestep like Sekiro or Bloodborne. Something that's completely separate from the, medieval dark fantasy style, and they can get more experimental. Still, I think it's very respectful to still be hungry when you're pretty much at the top, you know what I mean? Like, he's still hungry for more success. Since the discussion around difficulty in Shadow of the Erdtree is so prevalent, I think we should also once again hear from the man himself. Miyazaki on Elden Ring difficulty. I absolutely suck at video games. This guy, by all accounts, should have a massive fucking ego, but he doesn't. And that's what I think is so respectful. He just comes out and says, yeah, I suck at the games I make. Or maybe he's saying that to help people that do suck not feel so shitty about themselves. This next take is in Portuguese, so I don't know if it's a correct translation, but... And there are people who still think Elden Ring is better than Red Dead 2. Oh, yep, see, there it is. There it is. Look at the fire graphics. Look at that. I mean, Elden Ring doesn't have that. It's not like Rockstar actually went through incredible crunch and somewhat horrible working conditions to achieve this level of detail. But we should expect that in every other game too, even when it doesn't matter and it's completely unnecessary. I'm pretty sure this is a shitpost. I've never heard Elden Ring and Red Dead Redemption 2 brought up in the same sentence.
Mind you, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game with beautiful backdrops, animation. Rockstar did their big one with Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's not even really comparable. Like, they're not the same game at all, nor are they trying to do the same things.
Like, were people seriously comparing these two games? But there's this trend on Twitter where people will...
And we all know, like, as much as we hate it, we all know how infamous, that's the word, FromSoft is for other reused assets from other projects. Bro, there will be a boss that is specific to the lore, where only one of them should exist, and somehow you see that boss in 3 different areas of the game. Bro, FromSoft loves reusing assets, and I mean, So I can see what Miyazaki means by they haven't quite reached the RPG fantasy game that he wants yet.
Will do these weird comparison videos between two games that are absolutely nothing alike. They'll be like, look at the detail in Last of Us 2. Just look at the facial graphics. What about this? No. We're not talking about the story. Just the graphics. Also, look at Aloy's Peach Fuzz. Look at the Peach Fuzz rendering.
Wow.
It's so much better than Hellblade, the Peach Fuzz. Yeah, I know this is probably troll and a bait, but I'm gonna bite anyways. It's not enough to like their favorite game, they have to find ways to compare it to whatever is popular. Really funny how gamers still haven't realized that realistic graphics are one of the biggest reasons the game industry sucks right now. This is a genuine point though. Yay, your game has a realistic physics engine. In exchange, you will get 1 game per decade and the game costs over $500 million to develop. 1 flop and your studio is done for. It's fucking sad. It's a huge risk, game development. Speaking of dumb comparisons, Elden Ring. Create your own character. Make dynamic choices that change the entire story of your character. Open world with 100+ enemy types, 60+ bosses, on-point landscape-driven exploration, lots of interiors, and some of the best reward systems in the game. Reused bosses aren't an issue since it has a ton of boss variety. World design is insane and lore is good.
Reuse boss is not an issue. I mean, I love Elden Ring as much as the next guy, but some of these reused bosses, man, some of them.
Good. Insane boss roster, amazing open world exploration, incredible Metroidvania, lots of interiors is boundary pushing. Most open world games are unable to use interiors. Shows excellence in terms of world design, art direction, and content. Objectively, the best open world designs out there. So he's glazing. He would probably lick Miyazaki's nutsack if he could. Why is this a
Look, look, and I understand it. The desire to fondle Miyazaki by his his tenders. I understand the desire to fondle the goat himself. Okay, let's calm down. Okay, let's clean up. Let's get off our knees and let's assess.
Hot take. Because, compared to The Witcher 3, kill things, make choices that barely affect the story. A character either dies or loses relevance in the plot. Repeat for 50 hours. You left out fight monsters, bang hot chicks, get betrayed by them, kill them. Choices that barely affect the story. A character dies. When's that ever been important in storytelling? If you really want to hop into the fire, just go on Facebook. You will find some crazy shit. So I usually laugh at complaining posts, but this time I need to make one. This game would honestly be better if we didn't have to heal.
What?
I want my full health bar. Let us divide our health and magic bars based on sacred tier level and do away with the stupid flasks. Seriously, the only reason I can't beat some of these bosses is because I constantly have to stop fighting to heal. They're not gonna get rid of a
Okay. So, it's time for. I know you're gonna hate for me to say it, but skill issue. Yeah, skill issue. Yeah. Get better at the game. I'm sorry, like I don't know what to tell you. That's not an issue with the game. It's a part of the mechanics. It's part of the game. They want you to have to heal during a fight. Figure it out. Are there some bosses that are unfair, like the 2v1s and all that? Yes. I know. Yes, I know. I hate this game myself. I, Gods can do well. I'm talking about you. But is the Flash a part of it as well? I mean, I guess Flash can make it more difficult, but that's the game. Would you rather just not be able to heal? Or, yeah, just don't take damage. If you don't take damage, you don't have to heal. Skill issue.
core mechanic that's like healing. Yes, you should be able to heal in the game. You have to make that choice when you're fighting a boss. Do you get greedy or do you back off and try to heal or try to apply a buff? I think there is a point to be made about how small the window of opportunity is in between attacks with certain bosses that like a lot of items and shit you can't really use. There's a point to be made about that. But to like, you want the full health bar? You just want that shit like stacked 14 times on your screen? You know what? Yeah, this is good. This is an improvement for sure. I have to heal up to 14 times per fight. That's ridiculous. Managing my stamina against relentlessly.
Managing your stamina sounds like someone's using a strength build. I have to heal up to 14 times per fight. Again, yeah, it sounds like a skill issue. I'm not gonna lie to you. You have 14 flasks, and you have them all on health. God, is that even possible? Oh, yeah, it is. It is. Right? You suck. Wait, this guy's trash.
Spammed attacks is already enough of a challenge without having to come to a dead stop and endure a painfully slow animation of my tarnished drinking out of a stupid flask. I want to meet this person and I want to watch them play Dark Souls 2 for the first time. And I'm just going to be staring in their eyes, waiting to see their expression. Dark Souls 2 fans be like, yeah, boys, who wants to get fucked up? Beat this boss first try with no summons, but it still doesn't count since I used Blasphemous Blade, apparently. Actually, you're right, that doesn't count. You can't use the things that I don't use. I'm just starting to think that Elden Ring is an easy game, but we have to force a bunch of gameplay rules on ourselves to make it hard.
I saw this tweet when the DLC came out, and people were crucifying him for it, but he's right. I love Blasphemous Blade. Don't tell me what I can't use. Oh, if you use Mimic Tier. Oh, if you use Mimic Tier. Is it? Wait, no, it's not called Mimic Tier. Whatever. If you use Mimic, if you use Blasphemous Blade or well, what else is broken? It's mostly Blasphemous Blade. Yeah. Oh, there's also Mogwin's Sacred Spear. Yeah, if you use that, you suck. Man, hop off my dick.
That's the ticket. That's basically Elden Ring. And you can see this in the vast difference between Elden Ring and Sekiro. I think Sekiro is the hardest game From Software has made because you can't bullshit your way through it. You can't just leave this boss and go grind some runes or souls to buff your stats. In Sekiro, the progression is very harshly gated, but in Elden Ring, it's open, it's free. That's the benefit of the open world, is that people have all these tools to fight the enemies with. You could argue the problem is that there's too many tools. It's a hard balance to strike where you're trying to make things that are fun, flashy, and cool, but also make them balanced. Like, if you want to cheese your way through Elden Ring, you can. And if From Software didn't want you to do that, then they wouldn't have put these tools in the game in the first place. That being said, I think there are legitimate criticisms about like how bosses are designed, how levels are designed, the arenas you fight enemies in, and whether or not that's interesting and providing a unique challenge. It's not so much like, I just want to fight a really, really hard boss with a tough moveset. It's also, how do you get to that boss? Do you have to traverse down some fucking poison-infested village to get to a hot spider witch? And is that challenge satisfying when you overcome it? Like, that's kind of the ticket with difficulty in these games. It's never really been about the difficulty. That's always been an expression of the harsh world to immerse players into the game further. For me personally, I enjoy the challenge of learning a boss's moveset and all the proper timings, because when you hit that like 6 dodge combo and you can get through it, you kind of feel like a god. It's the same thing.
Mind you, I never hit that 6 dodge combo with Primer Dawn. Or I never hit that. I literally, I'm not gonna lie, I used Blasphemous Blade. I low-key tanked a lot of his hits. And I used Mimic. Uh-oh, what you gonna do about it?
Thing with parrying, timing attacks, it all comes down to timing.
Yeah, you won't catch me parrying ever. Skilled gameplay? Hell no.
No pause button in a single player game is just straight up bad design. I don't care. Well, it's not a single player game, but I get what you're saying, it can be. These games have never had a pause feature, and I don't think they ever will. The reason, I think, is because of immersion. Once again, when you cross that fog door, you gotta lock that shit in. You gotta lock in, and it's just you and the boss in your world. You can't worry about what your fucking kids are doing. If you got kids,
You may need to pause.
Okay, mind you, this isn't even that much of an issue. You don't lose that much upon dying. Like, it's not the worst thing ever to not be able to pause, because, again, you don't lose that much while dying. If you know you need to do something, you can go to a site of grace. It's essentially a pause button. You can just exit out to the main menu. Like, I've never needed to do any of those things ever, regardless. But again, I don't see the complaint. Is like, maybe that's a hot take, but I don't think you need a pause button. I really don't.
To stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket.
little Jimmy's gonna stick a fork in the outlet. Let him fry, okay? Survival of the fittest. Kid that dumb's not going to be smart enough to beat Elden Ring, so what's the point in raising him?
Yes,
But I
sir.
think being able to pause like mid-fight would take a lot of wind out of the game's sails. It would take away from the intensity of a boss and your immersion within the game. Like if somebody calls me when
And again, bro, if you're on a fire run and your kid is about to shove his fork in a socket, I'm sorry, just go help your kid and redo the boss. Like, it is what it is, bro. Yes, redo the boss. It's fine.
I'm fighting a boss
You were good enough to get that far in one time. You can do it again. Trust me.
in Elden Ring, this is pretty much what I say.
Oh, I forgot about Gaius. Now that I remember it. Oh my goodness, bro. The boar guy that he just showed on the screen, that boss, no, that's the worst boss in the game. That's the only thing that tarnishes DLC's reputation, and Ramana. Gaius, Commander Gaius, terrible boss. Hate him. Not even fun. He's genuinely not. He has barely any windows. It's so bad. I hate him so much. And a lot of the dodging is very specific. Like, you have to roll to the right. You can't roll to the left, because if you roll to the left, you're gonna get hit in the extra frames that appear at the end of the attack animation. Oh, terrible boss.
I'm busy! Call back later!
But it's like, it's okay to advocate for more accessibility. I just respectfully disagree that these games should have a pause feature. I think it's funny that Kai Cenat, like the biggest streamer on Twitch, has been playing From Software games for like, what, 2 months? And he understands these games better than some longtime FromSoft fans.
It's a skill issue. I'm assing your ass. But your ass though. Cause you really like say this too hard. Nigga, put your big boy pants on, go out there and go fight. Like, what are you talking about? If you went through all that hassle 2 years ago, why the fuck would they make a DLC for you to breeze past and be done with in a day or two?
It doesn't even sound fun. Exactly. Like, bro, not first night. Was it first night? I think it took me 2 nights to get to Mesmer because I was exploring a lot of the map. I was up till 5. Was it 5? I was up till 5 a.m. fighting Mesmer. It took me damn near 10 hours of repeated attempts, back to back, fighting Mesmer. And I still didn't beat him. I went to sleep, woke up at like 12 p.m., fought him, beat him on the first try. That's just, it's part of the experience, and it makes it fun, bro. Like, I'm proud of that first Mesmer win. You can't use Blasphemous Blade on that MF, bro. He tanks the hell out of fire damage. And here's the thing, I've also beat Mesmer without a Mimic or any other spirit, so, you know, at least I'm that good. Mesmer, I love learning Mesmer.
Guys, we're complaining about difficulty and challenge. You know the drill. We don't fuck around here. I mean, okay, we bitch, we moan, we break our controllers, we give up, we call it quits, and then we boot up the game the next day. Okay? Until that fucking boss
Exactly.
is dead on the ground forever.
Booyah! Woo!
It would be disappointing if Shadow of the Erdtree didn't ramp up the difficulty. If we all just breezed through it, that would be pretty shitty. And I think that's the reason why FromSoft forced players to beat Moog to gain access to the DLC. Because if you can beat Moog, you can beat every other boss in the game, I think. Moog
is a hard boss, bro. Moog's Phase 2 is ridiculous.
pretty fucking hard. So at this point, when you enter the DLC, you're supposed to basically have all tools at your disposal. That's the grounds that you should be confronting this challenge on. But I need some spicier takes, and I think I have just the answer. Now this video is from a very small creator, so I'm not sure if I want to show his channel name or the title of the video, because I don't want to inadvertently send a bunch of hate his way. But I feel like he's so entertaining, I have to talk about him.
So I've been thinking a little bit about Elden Ring lately, kind of how quickly it's fallen off, how it's irrelevant, how the DLC hasn't salvaged the game.
What a slew of just terrible takes.
He just hit me with 8 stuns in 8 seconds. What did he say?
Kind of how quickly it's fallen off, how it's irrelevant, how the DLC hasn't salvaged the game.
How quickly it's fallen off, how irrelevant it is. This has to be masterful trolling, because right out the gate, I'm already angry.
There have been really interesting lines of thought that have come from thinking about this game and the attempts at making this a cultural phenomenon.
Why does this guy feel like he's like Phil Spencer's son or something? Am I crazy? I feel like he talks kind of like him.
There's been a lot of damage control in regards to the difficulty, right? People are trying to gaslight those who criticize the DLC as simply having been filtered by the difficulty. Like, nobody is complaining about the difficulty in Shadows of the Erdtree, in my experience. The game is easy, it's simple, it's a breeze to get through.
He's fucking trolling. He's trolling.
Clearly, he didn't fight Bale the Dread, because when I tell you Bale the Dread is hell on earth, Bale the Dread is hell on earth. Resistant to fire damage. Even with the Dragon Hunter Great Katana that you get in DLC that he's supposed to be weak to, bro, you can pump optimal build into killing him, and he still has so much HP, bro. Bale, oh. Now I'm just talking about like my experience with the individual bosses, but none of those bosses were a breeze. I promise you that. Maybe a couple, but not like the important ones. Hell no.
Trolling me. There's no way. If you take what he says at face value, it makes me mad. Makes me want to convert to the Church of the Frenzied Flame.
Seeing like the response to my my criticisms of like the DLC and the base game and From Slop as a whole, I kind of get.
From
Slop. From Slop.
I've long talked about how other video game titles are far more hardcore and intense than anything From Slop has ever done. You know, I've talked about Super Monkey Ball, Monster Hunter, and stuff like that.
More intense, and he brings up Super Monkey Ball. But is he wrong? Bro, how this guy can say all this stuff with a straight face, like, I respect it.
Something that I think really needs.
Also, I'm gonna disagree on Monster Hunter being more intense, and I love that. Okay, let me start with, I love Monster Hunter. I love the hell out of that franchise. It's so cool. It's so cool. I don't think it's more intense. There have only been a handful of Monster Hunter fights that I haven't beaten without dying. And yeah, they're hard, but not incredibly so. The only thing with Monster Hunter is you will be committing a lot of time into taking out a single monster. So get ready to lock in. And I haven't played Wilds yet. That's the thing. So maybe Wilds is a lot more difficult, but I don't think Monster Hunter is like particularly intense. It's very fun though. Very fun, very time consuming.
Needs to be addressed, that needs to be brought up, is that Elden Ring is absolutely easier than the Dark Souls games.
No. He knows his shit, because he knows everything he's saying is gonna be like super inflammatory. It's gonna spark wild debates. Like if I said that, there would be hundreds of comments being like, "You're wrong, Act-Man." Like this guy knows his craft. Like it's uncut. There's no editing. He only calls From Software From Slop. This is a good troll.
Like the game has been casualized. The fact that this is only just dawning on me now really just goes to show you just how little respect From Slop fans have for the older Dark Souls games, right? They don't talk about them, they don't play about them at all, they don't care.
They don't play, they don't talk about, they don't care about the old Dark Souls games. Like, I know it's a troll, but I still want to debate him on that.
There isn't really much of a push to debate as to whether or not Elden Ring is better than Dark Souls, right? Aside from PlayStation fanboys who will advocate for Bloodborne being better, there is no real discourse on whether or not like From Slop has been falling off or not.
Saying this like just 2 years after they won Game of the Year and then releasing Shadows of the Erd Tree to the reception it's gotten, it's just crazy. It's wild to say that they've fallen off at the height of their power.
And I find that really, really interesting, that everything From Slop does is seen by the community as simply being better and more difficult. Like we saw that with the DLC, right? Where everybody is trying to say that Shadow of the Erd Tree is far harder.
Okay, I lied. There's 3 bosses that I really dislike. Commander Gaius, Ramina. Not that Ramina's hard, I just hate her fight. And met her mother of fingers. You can keep your goddamn fingers to your damn self. Thank you.
Than the base game of Elden Ring. But is it harder than Dark Souls? Is it harder than Demon Souls?
Those are actually interesting questions, because depending on how and when you played those games, like I started with Dark Souls 1, then Demon Souls 2, 3, and then I played them in order. And playing them in that order, like each one was challenging in a completely different way that it's really hard to describe which one was harder. Wow. A shitpost that makes you think. Wow, that's crazy.
You know, it's not as hard as Monkey Ball, I can tell you that much. But, like, when you really sit there and really when you really start to think about, like, wow, nobody I know is playing the DLC or cares about it at all, you know, like, when you really start to, like, look at, like, oh, 5 million units sold, that's great, except, you know, that's probably the absolute peak it's gonna get, right? You know, it fell off very quickly after that.
Yeah, it fell off after 5 million sales. Wow, this has been a real treat.
Like, there wasn't some major resurgence of interest in Elden Ring, and
you see what I'm saying? He's so good at. I'm just gonna be reiterating myself if we continue watching this. I'm just gonna say, wow, that makes me angry. Great troll. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the great content. I love it.
I've made this comparison before, but it feels like Elden Ring is in the same boat Skyrim was a decade ago, right? When that game came out and everybody swore up and down it's the greatest game ever, and yet, like, you know, actual Elden Ring fans, Elder Scrolls fan, excuse me, you can't even keep these games similar. They're so generic.
They're so generic.
Damn it. Oh, got me again.
Elder Scrolls fans came out and said, like, no, like, Skyrim is disappointing, right? It's shallow, it's basic, it's uninspired. Morrowind was better.
The debate around like which Souls game or Elder Scrolls game is the best in its series is much different than like, are these still objectively good fun games? And the answer is yes. All of the Souls games are fantastic. It just comes down to personal preference, which one you prefer the most.
You know, the Elder Scrolls has been falling off for a long time.
Now he's talking shit about Elder Scrolls. Well, I mean, he's actually not wrong. I mean, Elder Scrolls Online, you know, that's the new game, Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, 6 years since the trailer, boys. 6 years.
It's shocking to me, you know, as a real hardcore gamer, how often, like, a lot of the people who advocate for Elden Ring don't really seem to know all that much about video games in general, right?
The way he slinks in those subtle insults to people who really, really love these games is it's just chef's kiss.
And these are like the stereotypical, like,
I guess you could say he's a master baiter. Like, he's really a master at his craft. He is a master at baiting. Truly, truly.
modern gamers, the kind of
You
people
gotta
who
admire
will
the craft.
seriously tell you that Elden Ring is hardcore, right? That is the Elden Ring audience. You know,
Elden Ring doesn't have to be hardcore, though. Like, for people who glaze Elden Ring, it's a great game, and I also glaze it, but I don't glaze it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not giving it sloppy. Like, Elden Ring isn't that, like, it's a hard game, but it doesn't have to be a hard game. You can enjoy it at your own pace for the most part, as long as you know what to do, as long as you know the right build, the right things you want to use. You could trivialize a lot of the game, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah,
people who don't
Still a
even
fun game.
know what's out there. This is the reality, right? They are like the Marvel consuming, like, mainstream lowest common denominator slop, right? They are the people who show up to Adam Sandler movies.
He's comparing FromSoft fans to Adam Sandler movies as the lowest common denominator. God, we have to finish this video.
But now, like, you're really seeing them, like, get more aggressive about it. You know, like, aggressively try to pretend that, like, no, FromSoft is the hardest game series ever. Oh, it's way better than Zelda. Oh, like, and they'll go to great lengths to try to discredit them and dismiss all their arguments, right? Because to them, not enjoying Elden Ring is sacrilegious and it should be condemned.
He's not wrong. I'm genuinely surprised this video that I think is a 100% troll actually got me to, you know, think a bit more critically about games. And I was actually like agreeing with a couple of things he said. Overall, great troll. Love what you're doing, man. Keep it up. Fantastic video. Made me super angry. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. Those. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of those are bad takes, but it's Elden Ring. A lot of discourse around Elden Ring is typically, you know, a little toxic, but hey, love the game, and in fact, I love you. God loves you. Take care, stay blessed. Let's go beat a video. Goodbye.